Imagine every investment you make not only generates a secure amount of revenue, but also contributes to create a lasting legacy or preserving water for future generations. My name is Max Forzan, and I'm the owner, founder, and creator of Dry Splash Franchises Corporation. At Dry Splash, we have developed a patented and trademark system that revolutionized the way cars are cleaned. Our innovative solution allows to clean tenants' cars right within the property in their own parking spots while they're peacefully sleeping. By partnering with us or as a property manager, you can provide this high-level service to everyone, making your property an ecological green property for you and your tenants. With our system, we save an incredible 40 gallons of water per car wash, making a significant impact on water conservation. Not only does this benefit the environment, but also saves your tenants time, money, and protect their cars. By investing in Dry Splash, you're not only investing in a profitable business opportunity, but also in a sustainable future. Join us in creating a legacy for water preservation and providing a convenient, eco-friendly solutions for tenant and property owners alike. Welcome to Dry Splash.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Arete podcast. I am joined this month by someone who has been here before, but under his alter ego.
Hello, Jake. How are you today?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Tonight you will be known as Max, correct? You're professional.
Correct. Well, the thing is, I'm the same person, obviously, but I believe that a person has different state of minds and state of moods, different moods. So, as everyone else, I got a job, right? That is the dream job to generate what we want to do and change lives. And I got the ones for that is my fun part, right? So we just manage a balance. But thank you for having me here for a second time.
Well, thank you for coming on. And you can come on whenever you want. Before we get into Dry Splash, which you can go a little bit further into detail about the video everyone just watched, I apologize, Arete viewers. I made a couple of very large mistakes in episode 2, and I'm only now addressing them in episode 8. So bear with me, and I beg your forgiveness. Firstly, when I was talking to our good friend from the Great White North, Toast, we brought up Hadrian's Wall, and I didn't say anything that wasn't true, but I also didn't clarify, because I had said that the Romans created a border between Britain and Scotland, and I know that could sound like that's where the border is. It is not. Hadrian's Wall is a little bit south of the official border, just to let everybody know, and it was never the border between England and Scotland unless you count the Roman campaigns. So a little bit of fine-tuning on that statement. And then also I had said that the samurai historically didn't actually do a lot of fighting. And again, while that is not inaccurate, it's also incomplete, because I was referring to the early periods, like around the Sengoku and prior. In the later days, leading up to the Satsuma Rebellion and the Meiji Restoration, samurai actually did fight much, much more often, but that's largely because they lost a bunch of their influence and could no longer make poor people fight for them. So some clarifications. Now, Max, please tell us about Dry Splash.
Let's start from the beginning. Dry Splash, born as part of this company that we own, that is Forzan Industries Corporation, formerly known as the CIA, Creative Imaginaries Agency. We create that company, then we become a corporation under Forzan, that we develop ideas. We're Imagineers. So our job is to see the gaps on society or in markets and come with a solution. You can, for more specific ways, there's companies like Uber, Lyft, they found a niche that they need to compensate. We start developing ideas, sometimes become artistic, entertainment. But then 9 years ago, I got this idea
and if you allow me, I will tell you the story. The, I was living in Los Angeles, California, in Marina del Rey, and at that point, I was waiting for a contract to happen. So I had like a couple of months, a sabbatical, if you will. And I just went swim in the morning, had breakfast in the grill. I cook my breakfast in the grill and start my day. Every morning I see this guy that came into the around the pool walking, and we became the hey neighbors, right? Hey, hey, good morning, good morning. Couple of weeks. One day he approached and he told me, "What are you doing here? You're always here." I said, "Yeah, well, I'm waiting for a contract to develop. I'm in a sabbatical, so I just come and do some exercise. I don't want to be in the gym. I just take advantage of the pool." I asked him the question, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I just arriving from work. I work the graveyard, and I work in Federal Express. I don't remember it was DHL or Federal Express." He told me my wife works in the same company, but she goes in the next shift. So I come to the house, I spend time with her, and then she goes to work. I sleep, and I woke up. She returns, we have dinner. I go to work. That was his life. We become a little closer, not close friends, a little closer. And one day he came in a hurry. I said, "How are you?" He's like, "In a hurry, because I need to take the car to get a car wash before I can do my routine." I said, "Well, why don't you call somebody?" I'm talking about 9 years ago. "So why don't you call somebody? Somebody that can come and clean your car." He told me that doesn't exist. I said, "Are you really?" Because in Latin America, people clean your cars everywhere. You're parking to eat some tacos. Somebody tell you, "Do you want me to clean your car?" Well, uh, parentheses, I born in Argentina, grew up in Europe and Mexico. My between 10 and 20, my age, I spent in Mexico City. So for me, it was a normal situation to have somebody come in your car. That being said, I told him, "Well, that would be a great business." Time passes, a couple of days. I told him, "You know what? I think I want to do that business. You want to jump in with me?" He told me, "No, good luck. I just work in DHL." Who will see it, right? Now that we have a value add of $50 million, I think that he will keep himself in the world. I hope he's okay. So I went downstairs to the property manager and I told him, and, and I'm telling you the story because it had an analysis after it just happened to me. When I explained the situation to the property manager and I said, "Do you mind if I clean the cars here?" He told me, "No, go ahead." So I make little flyers, like printed Office Depot, put it in every door. I walk the 400 doors by myself, like listening to music, blah, 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 just putting it with tape in every door. People start going. Then I went to bought a big water. I used to do it with water pump, but it was attached to the car, like a little trailer car. I hired a couple of guys. I told them we need to be cleaning cars at night. It's easier. So I thought about it doing it in the morning, but people comes and goes. You don't want to be a hustler. So we start cleaning. We clean the cars, probably 40 cars, right, per month at the beginning with water. Then I decided to make an event, and we get free tacos. Fantastic. At that time, my girlfriend, her daughter, in that case, my stepdaughter, if you will, she's cleaning cars, and she was like, I don't know, 9 years old, right? And we did this tackle, and everybody came. We offered them subscription, and people started. It was a point probably at 3 months after that I have every 95% of the building was my client. I'm just thinking about a high-end apartment complex of 800 apartments. Suddenly became a real good business. Suddenly it wasn't too uh, dry washers, we call it like that now, but people that wash cars were around 8. So my job was waking up 8 p.m., go for a nap, obviously. Waking up and finish at 3 a.m. in the morning, go back to sleep, right, the whole day, and then swimming again, but probably at night. Somebody complained about the noise, because the pump make noise. So we need to pivot. I've been grateful enough to be trained by Tony Robbins and assist to many of his uh, conferences. And I think something that I learned is you don't change the goal, just pivot. And as a basketball fan, a basketball ex-player, right? Not professional, obviously. I'm just 6 foot, so I couldn't be professional. I found myself with the necessity to pivot. So what I did, I went and buy these backpacks that they're Karcher, the Karcher pump. It just goes. We tried them, and they were working. We bought Nerf water pistols, and we were doing it like that. Just being part of an imaginary company, we're creating stuff. We're imagining. We're engineers for ideas. And it was worked well. A couple of months, somebody complained about the residue. There's some, and then suddenly you're not talking about, hey, can I wash cars? Somebody's requiring for insurance. You need an LLC. So it was the way I just arrived in America. I studied college here, but I never worked in the States, right? I finished college, went back to Mexico, and so I needed to learn from the scratch how it was to open an LLC, bank accounts, taxes in America, craziness.
Oh, taxes
When
will
you
get
don't,
you. Taxes will get you.
and the system of the taxes is not complicated for a reason. It seems to be complicated. The reality that nowadays, if you use third parties, it's really easy. This is my numbers. This is the bank account. Do whatever you need to do. So suddenly we gotta pay insurance. We gotta be protected. And from being a performer artist signed by Capitol Records, waiting for the contract to start, suddenly I become a businessman. It wasn't my first business because CIA was my first business, the Creative Magic Agency. But suddenly I'm just realizing that we needed to pivot again, but in a unique way. So back this is probably 6 months after we started, right? Dry Splash wasn't called Dry Splash. It didn't have a name. It was a subdivision of CIA. We cleaned your car. That it was simple. We needed to come with a name, and I post on Facebook because people remember for the young audiences, 9 years ago was totally different than today. 5 years ago was totally different. YouTube was existing, but wasn't the second biggest search engine in the world. It was owned by a private sector, wasn't from Google. So I posted on Facebook with my personal friends, I need a biochemistry guy. Why? And let me take you back probably 25 years. My brother was a big, great entrepreneur back in Mexico. He did Mexican handcraft. He export and import. So I don't know if for all the audience and yourself, Jake, when you used to go to an airport and you see a Mexican mariachi hat, that means my brother brought it for the manufacturer, but it was the Mexican handcraft, you know, real handcraft from some place in Mexico. He put a logo, a tag on it, and sent it to Netherlands, right? So he was a really big businessman. Every handcraft that it passes through our hands. So I learned a lot from him. So going back probably 20, 25 years ago, he told me I'm going to buy my first Maserati. And I know people are going to start saying, oh, this pompous guy. It's not. That's what happened to me, right? Been up and downs like in every life. I went over there and I saw that the cars were shining. I remember clearly that he was my mentor. He sadly passed, but this is a good story. It's not a sad story. Let me continue. I asked him how they clean the cars, how they never get dirty. I remember his words so they're tattooed in my brain. He told me, I'm buying $150,000 car. It was really ironic, right? Why you ask me? Ask them. I'm pretty sure they will say yes and they will teach you. And I went there and they showed me a wax that clean cars on dry. It wasn't a product. So our technology is not new, but we pivoted to make it better. So I remember that I asked for a biochemistry guy. Raul appeared. Raul, a good friend of mine. He lives in Guadalajara. Great inventor. And we just decided to develop dry splash. And as a good businessman, I use. Let me rephrase that. As a good rookie businessman, I use all my personal money, all of it. When I say all of it, I put it. I didn't have money to pay the rent the next month. I that next month I eat this. I remember it was fantastic because I cherish those moments a lot. Maybe you can have Minuteman meals at at the supermarket. I ate that for a month. Like in the morning oatmeal, Minuteman and the lunch, and Minuteman at lunch. Forget about the carnivore diets or the keto. That's what I could eat, and it was $1.50 each meal. So I was spending in my food $5 a day. Period. Uh, we thought we have it in month three. It didn't work out. Month six, finally we have it. But then we run into the biggest thing. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there. They need to understand that you need to build a case for an investor to look at it. An investor will not look, don't invest in your idea. An investor will look in the prof- proficiency that in the person, the knowledge, and the way that the idea will pay because they're investing their money. And some investors use their own money and they work really hard for that. But real investors, real hedge funds, are representing other people's money, so they can play with it. They just can't. So now we have a product that works, but we have it in Mexico. We need to have all the export import things. We need to register the trademark, the patent, and that's really expensive. Because you can register the patent here, but it's not the same patent in Mexico or in China. And if this is your job and your dream, so you're not gonna let somebody in Italy, right? Per se, somebody say the dry splashy, right? And they have dry splash. So they we start getting into that. At that point, we stop cleaning cars. 6 months, no cleaning cars. We have the product, and then with the help of a lot of good people, we opened Dry Splash LLC. The logo has been, well, this is the fourth design of the logo. We went to a super cool car, to a emblematic kind of Mercedes-Benz logo, to the simplicity that is now. Because thanks to another, I don't know how many times I'm gonna quote Tony Robbins here this time, but simplicity is the mother of success. The logo is really simple. And then based on that, I say we have one service. You can hire us for a subscription base. And I stuck on that probably 4 years, saying we have one. And people told me, can I use my subscription and use two cars? No. Can I? No. Can I? And I remember to the new clients, I used to tell them, do you pay a membership to go to the gym? How much do you pay? $10. You go there and tell them, I'm going to pay you two because I'm really lazy. No, you pay $10. It's your choice to go or not. Long story, make it short, because we're getting to the kicks of it. The product is working. We got our patent. We got our trademark. And then Dry Splash opened in Marina del Rey. A couple of years after, we're cleaning 10,000 cars. And that's how we created a waterless car wash system under subscription base with nanotechnology and polymer transforming the matter of dirt into a gum that gets attached to our towels. So that's the little short of how Dry Splash started.
Okay, so you said something there that I kind of want to go back to your minute meals. Um, I can attest that. I think every true entrepreneur who literally started with nothing can identify with that because for a while there with me it was chicken flavored ramen, and to this day I can't eat that shit because I lived off of it for I mean, off and on for years, but there were a couple months where that was literally all I ate. I would not eat because I was sick of chicken ramen.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I haven't opened a Minute Maid in many years, and I will not a Minute Man at all. Yeah, like that. Like I could be starving. I will try something different. I must confess that the chicken is not bad at all.
It's not bad at first, but
Yeah, well,
when you eat it and only it for a couple of weeks straight, it gets pretty stale.
well, let me tell you that probably I got that lucky or versatility. I like to eat the same all the time. So for me, is simplicity is the mother of success. If I'm gonna spend 25 minutes cooking something that I'm craving to have that flavor, yeah, I better eat the same that I like. Lately, this last week, I've been eating the same plate for lunch and for dinner, and I'm loving it. And it's the simplest thing ever. It's white rice with green peas and shredded chicken with two eggs in the top. I mix it, and I'm talking a big quantity, and that's it. So, and the way that I do things probably are not the more orthodox for a lot of people, but when they move from their country, build a company from scratch to be valued in 50 million now, and are saving a lot of water and giving a lot of work and generating income to the country, to the posterity, they can tell me that I do things bad. This is not a bragging situation, but I mean, the numbers are there. There's been a lot of people in the past that help us to get to that point. From a person that put $2,000 for dry splash to big investment firm from England and from San Diego that had put a lot of money for us.
Very cool. I remember I think I've told you this, but so for those who don't know, which if you follow this channel, you know exactly who Max is, but under a different name. And I'll never forget. It was the most surreal phone call I've ever had in my life when you called me and talked to me about starting Toon Talk, which is another podcast that we have on the Arete Podcast Network that Max and I do every week. I should say Virus and I do every week. But you called me, and I actually misunderstood what your text meant beforehand. I thought you wanted to do a single pop culture podcast, and I was like, "Yeah, cool, dude, totally. When do you want to do it?" And then we got on the phone. And I was like, "Yeah, I think I misunderstood." And then you told me who you were essentially, and I think I told you this. If not, you're gonna find out. I googled you immediately because in my past, I've had quite a few dealings with people who were like, "Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that," and then it turned out to be complete bullshit. But I googled you immediately, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's all real." And then I just nerded out on Dry Splash for probably an hour and a half because I thought it was so cool and so innovative. I'm not a genius, but I love stuff like that. I love technology that changes an industry, and I think you're right there because I mean, water scarcity is a thing now, particularly in big cities, and it's only going to get worse.
And first of all, never judge the book for their cover, Jake. You never know what you're gonna find. And something that I learned today specifically, a person that has been trying to connect me with investors for probably 2 years. The guy is totally unorthodox. The guy is different. His English is not perfect. I mean, mine neither, but it's hard to understand him when he tries to speak English. And and today one of the business partners told me, really? You're gonna have a meeting with him? That you never know, man. Because you never know. You gotta always take the risk. If you're not gonna take the risk, move to a desert island, save your money, and stop. Because the moment that we stop believing in the other person, actually, it's because we stop believing in ourselves. And just for the to clarify with the people, it's not that I'm different. Virus is a character that needs to be like that because Virus jumps into a stage and perform rock and free the areas that I can as a businessman. It's the same person. But we created virus box, right? Because it's the balance that I needed. As a business person, I'm probably a little tough. Another meeting today, because I get around 6 meetings per day with people, even they're trying to invest in the company or they're trying to request guidance, or because we do a lot of things in the corporation. Somebody else told me we should do it like this and like this, and I told him, you are wasting your time. I will not put money up front. What you're telling me is a violation of the SEC. You are not. You cannot call yourself a broker if you don't have a license in the state that you are. Period. And probably that person right now says this asshole. I mean, this guy's an asshole. But at the end of the day, you need to have these personas. There's a book called The Law of Separation that talks exactly the opposite about this. It says that the person that loves, the person that works, the person that dreams is the same person all the time. A hardworking man that is building cars in Detroit, when he goes home, he still have the grease in his hands. And if somebody asks him, pass me the salt, he will grab it and pass it, right? It doesn't change. When somebody talks to him, so in the understanding of that, we designed to change, to become better, to adapt to the situation. And that's something particular for businessmen. You can be in a building a rocket, right? You're gonna be wearing jeans and going underneath the rocket and telling the guys, joking with the guys and have a beer at lunch. But you have a meeting with the investors, you dressed up and you go and behave what matters. So to clarify this is not that it's not it's an alter ego because the way I am. The reality is just a way to be free, separated from the responsibilities that I have as chairman of the board for a corporation in Los Angeles. If that makes sense. I don't know if I went around, but
No, that does make sense. But I actually did. That made me think of two things. One, I assume you're familiar with Tim Pool. You know who he is. Okay, yeah. So very recently, I saw a video of his, and he's always wearing the quintessential same thing: beanie, you know, skater clothes, all that good stuff. But I saw a clip of his where he basically says that he would never ever put on a suit for any reason, and I thought that was rather. I thought that was a rather strange, not necessarily dumb thing to say, but kind of short-sighted, I guess, because he's basically saying he wouldn't even put on a suit to meet the president of the United States.
forget about that. I'm pretty sure that his better side, girl, whatever she or he or whatever, I don't know his sexual preferences, has a wedding, he will wear a suit. Period. Forget about the president of the United States. He will wear a suit because maybe the first time, oh, he's a cool guy in pants or in shorts. The second time will be like, oh, he's the cool guy that never grew up. But for the fourth time, is for God's sake, just get a suit, right?
Right.
Society will push you to things like that. Do I like to dress in suit and shirt? I love it. I remember when I don't want to make a mistake, but the first dream that I had after dreaming to be a firefighter or, I wanted to be a firefighter, I want to be a policeman. But the first actually thing that I say I want to do this for my living, I wanted to be Richard here in Pretty Woman. I wanted it. I'm not, now a lot of people call me the Mexican Howard Hughes, even I'm not Mexican, but they call me that in the industry. Uh, the Mexican Tony Stark, right? I found it obscene. I don't have not even 1% of the money of the character, right? Or the actor that plays him. But if we realize that what he does and the way that he dresses, I fall in love with that situation, right? The guy that works perfectly. Tell me once you see the character in that movie that he's not dressed well. Not even once he looks perfect. Well, obviously when he takes his clothes to to do the deed, if you will. But it's that was my first dream. Then I decided to become a singer and then a businessman and blah blah. The story goes on. Because I'm not young. And that going back to your point, yeah, a lot of people when they make virus or they make Macs, I found it a little. Not in your case, we have a friendship, but I found when I go to a convention or I go to a business, uh, you know, segregation, whatever, not segregation, sorry, a business development or whatever, I'm not walking around saying, hey, I'm the chairman of the board, right? I don't do that. I find that stupid, a lack of confidence. But I find worse that people need to know what title do you have or your experience to trust you. And I know it's hard because a lot of people being played before, but that's our knowledge and our culture and our way to address the situation. Again, like I told you, I get approached today. Again, I had another meeting. These guys told me what we do is that if you pay us X amount of money a month, we will use your LinkedIn to generate more meetings for you so you got more investors. And I assumed that they were talking to the guy that cleaned cars. I saw clearly. I let them do their presentation. Really well done. Congratulations to Paul. And I told them, do you know who I am? They told me, no, I mean, we book. I said, did you watch our website? He's like, yeah, we watched RiceFlashFranchises.com. I go like, yeah. I got a picture there with a Versace t-shirt that doesn't give you anything on purpose. So in everything that you told me, I got a full department doing that. And what I will give you access to my personal information on LinkedIn, and the people that trust me with their information, for you to generating meetings, back in the day, that is what's called a secretary. A liaison, if you want to sound better. For me to close the deal. With news people, there's something called AI that does that for you. But I saw the talent. If I were arrogant or narrow-minded, I saw the talent, so I told them, no, what we're going to do, we're going to use your company as part of the Creative Imagination Agency under Forzan Corp. So you help the new talent that has an idea to generate funds. They blow their minds. But again, they wouldn't believe it if I don't say go to Forzan. Hopefully you can, I don't know if you can put it in the comments, ForzanCorporation.com. That's the number 4, S-A-N as Nancy, D as David, corporation spelled out.com. You will see the presentation like that you were really nice to put in the beginning. All those are AI generated. Right? So we've been doing that for years. I'm glad that technology is taking us there for everyone, but we've been doing that for years. But again, never judge the book by the cover because you can get a lot of surprises. I'm happily with a beautiful girlfriend and a stepdaughter that I lost. I'm not looking for more. But back in the day, it was the same when you go to the bar scene. You never know. Just give yourself a chance for businesses and for life, and you will be better.
Yeah, that's 100% true because it happens to me still to this day a lot, but particularly when I opened my business and my business partner, who was kind of my mentor at the beginning, still is, but much more so then. He sat me down really because, gosh, when was that? That was almost 10 years ago, so I would have been 26, 27. And he sat me down and he was like, okay, here's the thing. I know your level of expertise because by that point I'd been in the industry for almost a decade and I knew it very, very well. But I was young. I knew as much as I knew is because I got in with a small business and basically built a company. So I had to figure everything out. And when you have to figure everything out, you become very, very good at it or you fail. So if it succeeds for any length of time, you become an expert. And he sat me down and he said, I know you have the knowledge. But everybody walking in, your age is working against you now. And he said, now there's going to come a time when your expertise and your age intersect, and that's going to be your power decade. You know, and rightfully so, it's getting better and better. He said by about 40, you'll be at a point where you'll have the perfect blend because people won't think you're too young, even though you're not. Because I've met people who I would consider experts in their field that were in their early 20s because they're just a different breed. And then I've met people who were experts who, I mean, they were knowledgeable enough, but I wouldn't consider them particularly gifted in their field of work. So that just goes entrepreneurship lesson 5,000. Don't judge a book by its cover because it'll always surprise you. I cannot tell you how many people I've met that were, I mean, legitimately high level millionaires, and you would never guess it until you talk to them.
You know what? And I think that Mark Zuckerberg changed the path of that because we start recognizing as a society that a young man can make a change in the world. It's been happening since forever. I don't have the information, but how old was Benjamin Franklin, right? When he discovered electricity, or how long was Newton when he discovered gravity? Probably they were not.
I
But in
I
fact,
I think Newton was 26 when he published his Principia Mathematica, which basically was the first calculus textbook.
but imagine, let me tell you, because you were right. A businessman will fail around 4 times before he hit it, and he makes enough money to fail 4 more times till he hit it again. That's the reality, and that's on and on. We have ideas in the past that they were fantastic and never pan out. We had ideas in the past, like you say correctly. We were too young to have those conversations. I think I talked to you about this. I don't remember it was online or in a personal talk. I went. I was probably 22, just graduate from the States. I come to Mexico. I think I'm ready to eat the world, right? And I got this idea, why I don't open? I'm releasing how old I am, but I'm older than hopefully that what I look, hopefully. But I opened the first, I'm gonna call it the way that we call it back then, internet radio station in Latin America. I opened it with a friend of mine called Rafa, and we call it Brief111.com. And then we put music. We were talking about royalties. You can put whatever you want. Napster was started. Okay, guys, this is so old that High Five and MySpace didn't exist yet, a long time ago. And then, okay, you got it. Then I called sponsors because it was a radio station. They didn't listen to me. They didn't. They thought I was creepy. Who's gonna listen to that? I wish I could put them together now. Tell them, you see, a couple of people were really nice, but they pay us in exchange of kind. For the people that doesn't know that, they don't pay you money. They give you either their service or their product. So yes, we have a lot of t-shirts to wear. Yes, we have a lot of clothes, a lot of cigarettes. Back in the day, if you didn't smoke, you weren't cool. So you need to have a Marlboro or a Camel. We got sponsored by that, Coca-Cola, but nobody gave us money. So we needed to find a way to receive T-shirts, cigarettes, alcohol, and pop, and throw parties so we could make money to survive. You see, again, pivoting the thing. Till the day you can go to Riff, that's RIFF111.com. It's not mine. I'm not involved anymore. Uh, Rafa is the owner. He's a good friend till the day. We don't talk a lot, but because he's in another country, but we are good friends. If he calls me or call him, he will pick up. But we were the first until the days that even they changed the path. They still one of the biggest radio station online for that specific kind of rock in Latin America. Not because they're good or not. I'm not here to judge. Because we start so early. I had this idea, great idea. Based on that, I went to the, and I know I don't want this to sound like yeah, whatever, what's your idea, but it was. I went to a chain of supermarkets as big as Walmart, but in Mexico. It's called Bodega Aurrera. They don't exist anymore. I think I don't know. And I went, and I managed to. I've always been really good with the phone, and maybe that's another story after this. So Damn, I'm feeling old today because I opened the yellow pages.
So,
I will love.
so very briefly for any of our Gen Z viewers, because I learned this with my youngest nephew. I had to explain the concept of a video rental store to him. They mean the yellow pages. It's basically Google, but in the book. If you're looking for phone numbers and addresses, you get them delivered. They were these giant, thick books, and the yellow pages were the business pages. So if you need, like again, if you needed tires, you'd flip to the T section, and all the tires in your whatever area you are, they divide them up into zones. So yeah, wow, yellow pages. So was this like? I mean, yellow pages. Yeah, yeah. I mean, because technically, yellow pages are still around. You just really don't see them that often.
I'm 47. I'm 47. I'm almost 50 years old. So I'm talking about 25 years ago. So if I could see my yellow pages, that was amazing because it was full of notes and yes and no. And I will go into that. So anyway, I called and called and called. At that point, I opened a non-profit organization to have the name attached to my last name. Many people I talked to, they thought they were talking to my dad. And they thought I'm gonna send. I used to do this gig. I'm gonna send my son. He's the one that marketing. Let me know how it goes. And I'm 22. I go over there, you know, like a school with, and I try many things, many things. I went over there and told them, what we need to do, put a radio system station in your store, giving what is in the other aisles, and then we're gonna put music between, so people is singing, and suddenly we stop it because till the day somebody goes to the microphone and says, "We got that sound," you can understand what they're saying. And I say, you will pay me to coordinate the music, pay the royalties, and generate the commercials. They look at me and they tell me that's not gonna work. I'm not gonna have the budget for it. Heartbreaking. I went back and I started thinking in the next idea. And something that forces you as a businessman is, my first business was the worst mistake ever. My first business in life. I was 10 years old. We finished a big construction in the house. So we got extra, bricks, the red bricks. My mom told me, get rid of that. So I went with my neighbors and I go like, we need to get rid of that. Yes. So we went to a doctor that lived in the block. He was the doctor, right? And my 10-year-old brother was younger, but 10-year-old, I went and say, hey, his name was Vera. Dr. Vera, I have a lot of bricks, right? You have a construction over there. What if I sell it to you? And he told me, sure. How many are there? Well, this much, I don't even remember. It was probably the size of a beetle, right? It was a lot. He's like, great. And I took them all with my, and we're thinking, meanwhile, we're carrying them in bicycles and in doing whatever you can do because we're really young. And when I put them there, I returned and he gave me the equivalent of $1. He gave me $1. And then I learned never to work again without stipulated in a contract, and I prearranged the thing. But I didn't know.
Yeah,
What
but
to do with that dollar?
it's good you learn the lesson young, though.
Yeah, of course. That might happen to people at 25, 30. And like that, like I got so many stories. Uh, and as you can see, me, Max, right, is the guy that understand. Virus Box is the guy that never is gonna grow up. Virus Box is stuck in 25. You're not gonna be able to move it from there. Um, and that's how I keep in contact with my younger self. Going back to dry splash, we have a problem with society. People don't like change. People don't like change till the change overcomes the necessity to be a change. I remember Netflix. Everybody like, what is this? There was people that have Netflix, Redbox, and still in small parties, small cities around the world, they still have the subscription to go to Blockbuster or Visa Vision or Aero Visa in Latin America, whatever that it was the go-to rental place. Netflix transformed the world, but nobody believed. I mean, people didn't believe in Netflix. The guys from Blockbuster didn't believe in Netflix, right?
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's a true
But
story.
that's a true story, and I encourage everyone that is watching this to do that. But it's to look after that. Our job in life is to do the best that we can with the resources that we have. Now, it's not important. Here we go, Tony Robbins again. I don't want to sound like, oh, he adores him. Yeah, I do. Not too much. Sometimes it's too much. But it's not important how much resources you have. What is important is to be resourceful. And when you, that thing, and I'm going to quote somebody, my girlfriend, not Tony Robbins, she told me it's more important to be rich than look rich. That's something against society right now. They want to look cool. They want to have the fancy car. Let me tell you something. Straight to the. I'm gonna do it straight to the camera. Owning a Ferrari do not give you more girls. Do not. If you need to get a Ferrari to get more girls, you have a serious issue. The marketing says that if I drive a Ferrari, every girl want to go out with me. Let me tell you, girls don't like Ferraris. They see a shiny car. Just clean your car. So anyway,
Or or get a pickup truck.
or get a pickup. Well, depending of the niche. If you live in Nashville and Houston, the Ferrari is a stupidity.
But right, I was shocked though because when I started driving my truck, I was shocked at the number of comments I would just randomly get, and I'm like, huh, trucks are better than sports cars around here. Did not
Oh
see
yeah,
that
but
coming.
if you go to the beach, right? Having a yacht is more important. Having a boat. If you go to Florida, it's stupid to have a Ferrari if you don't have a boat, right? Depending of your market. Remember that you're gonna be valuable when your market is correct for your intentions, not the other way around. So, like I say, being rich is more important to look rich. And I go again to the society situation. The biggest challenge that we have with dry splash is that people know that we need water, know that we need to save water, but they don't want to do it. They think that it's something that is going to get solved, it's something that is going to be fixed, and it's not. Believing that the water problem will solve by itself or somebody will fix it is like thinking that your wallet suddenly is going to appear more money when you keep spending.
Well, that tracks because that's pretty much what the government thinks about both. So,
But the reality, but that's where it is. So our biggest challenge is change the culture of dry splash. Understanding that you don't need. And I know that I'm becoming the nemesis of the owners of normal car washes in the country. And I respect that they do their effort, but they have two options. They can pivot and continue to be better, or they can stuck in the old ways. Let's see who's making more money, Blockbuster or Netflix, right? Simple as that. I was grateful to be named one of the top 2020 most visionary men. I think you saw the interview
mm-hmm.
in the London Post. Named me the, and again, it was just trying to find the gap in society. I found obtuse, if I will, that people need proof to the fact to understand something innovating. That will be not being innovating at all. Your point is being innovating is because it's something new. It's like saying I'm gonna release a new book. When you finish reading it, I will ask you to buy it. Dude, I need you to pay for it take the risk, take a leap of faith, and that goes for investors. There's so many good companies that are looking for invest in good ideas. And I know I'm jumping from one company for another. At Dry Splash, we clean cars and we save water, and we have now three different tiers. But I'm digressing. At Forzan Industries Corporation, we develop your idea. If you call me and say, I want to create a pillow, right? I don't know if you've seen the pillow that is a square.
Yeah, the cube one.
Well, it's not our idea. I'm just putting it as an example. Somebody told me I want a cube. Oh, great. We sit down with them. We create it from the concept to the business plan, development. We see where we can manufacture it. We keep going and going and going till we get it to investors and development and then to the market. Right? If I'm a crazy investor, I'm not. If I'm a crazy inventor, I'm not. What I know is I know the path because going back when I was 20, I lost any contract, sorry, with any record label major, and I needed to find the path myself. So what I did, I opened the yellow book and found who can give us guitars because I didn't have money, who can give us drums, who can give us this, who can to the point that I probably was 22 and I did my first concert solo independent from a record label. It was with my first band, not the boy band, the next band, right? But we were independent when the concept independent artist didn't exist. Imagine how old I am, Jake, right? So I went to Hard Rock Live, and I remember I opened the door, and I'm young, but Pierre Fraisse, a guy from France that's living in Mexico, being the director of Hard Rock, he told me, "You're crazy." I said, "Well, I want to rent Hard Rock." He told me, "Who's going to see you? You don't have a song in the radio. Nobody knows us. I want to rent it." He told me, "Okay." Back in the day in Mexico, I'm going to charge you $5,000 for the engineers, and I'm going to make a deal with you. If you reach the goal of 800 people, you don't pay me anything, but I keep all the drinking. But if you don't reach more than 400, you will pay me 100 pesos. That will be like $10 back in the day for every person. So I'm committing myself to $4,000. And I remembered I did this. Right, let me review the contract. I knew I could. I went with a girlfriend that minute. We came out, say, how are we going to do this? I said, first we need to put together $5,000, 5,000 pesos. That equivalent will be like $5,000 if we want to make a show nowadays. So we put together the 5,000, and then I needed to realize how we're going to make it. I needed to understand that it was a promotional matter. So what we did is we went to studio, and I told the guy in the studio, "You're not going to charge me to record this, but I will let you promote your studio in the whole place." He told me, "I'm not." I say, "Well, it's the Hard Rock." "Oh, really? In the Hard Rock?" "Hell yeah." So now we have a place to record. We didn't have the songs ready to record, and I got 3 months to pull this up. Probably that was my first success. You can still watch the video online. I will share the link with you. I look really young and like skinny Justin Timberlake. But so then I needed to solve how to put 800 people. I know if I put 400, I'm safe, right? I went and bought a machine keyboard, the CD. No, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, CD burner.
A CD board, the one that has four.
Mhm.
Totally created, like bad, like piracy on thing. I connected to, well, the drummer is the one that hooked us up with that. We went and with Johnny De La Peña, really good friend, and I asked him, "Hey, man, I need you to record us for free." We didn't have any money, anything. Yes, we live in the suburbs. Our family support us, right? But the guys that studying, they were studying and then going to the band. Right? It was a side gig. And then he told me, no, Max, I will charge you 2,000 pesos. I said, okay, record it to me, right? And I promise you that if this works, I will produce it for you for free. The next one. Johnny let us record. So we recorded our first song, the one that we born in the city, one song, one single song. And then we wrote in every city in the little envelope ticket. Pay one ticket and get two entrances, 400, 800, right? And then I remember that first rehearsal. That happened in 4 days. First rehearsal, I say, guys, you need to sell 17.5 tickets a day till the day of the concert. At that time, Juan Carlos in the bass, delaying the God bless his soul, he passed really good. In the guitar and Sonic in the drums look at me, told me, what? How am I gonna sell 17 tickets a day? I said, well, you wanna play in the hard rock? Oh, I said, it's a hard rock? Of course, we're gonna play in hard rock, right? Just the big bands are playing there. For the young generations, live nation didn't exist. Playing in a place like hard rock is like playing the Madison Square Garden in New York, right? Long story short, we're selling tickets everywhere. Because in a point we needed to pack the place so we didn't owe money to Hard Rock Corporation. You can go online. Oh, by the way, we went to the studio, the biggest studio, and we record 4 songs. And then I went to the manufacturer and I told him, hello, I need 1,000 CDs. Well, it's gonna be $1,000. I don't have money, but I will let you announce yourself. And they say yes. So we got that 4 songs for free, 1,000 CDs already printed with their case. Uh, that's not included was the name of the EP. Fantastic. And even so, in this fake it till you make it, we put produced by Crumble Doyle. We came with that name and what's another name? Guys, forgive me, I don't know, but it was 2 names that they sound amazing, right? So it looks like it was produced by Americans. We're talking about Mexico in the 2000s. Yeah, 2000s. So every time that you come, remember the envelope says this CD will be exchanged for the new EP included. So you're buying the ticket, right? And if I remember, if I do it right, I will make $4,000. If I fail, I will lose money. So, and the entrance, we put somebody that when you do the entrance, 2 people get in, they receive a CD. So now our brand is been taken with that. But it didn't stop like that. I'm gonna be faster. I don't want to bore you, but we have a limousine. We have 4 limousines that we arrived. A whole floor from a huge, famous hotel in Mexico that they sponsored because I went there pretending that my dad was the owner of the record label. My dad passed when I was 12. But you need to take risks. I went over there. I remember before the concert, the president of the resort told me, "Hey, your dad is gonna be here." I said, "Yeah, sure, it's gotta be support." My dad has been there for 10 years, right? But that's going back to how the story started. We you need to pivot and adapt the necessities. Of course, I'm a grown-up man now. I don't lie about being my dad, right? I wish I would be 20 again, but your mentor was right. There's a moment in life. I will disagree with the decade because usually it's going to be 20 years of that path. It's not going to be a decade. It will be 2 decades of my experience. But guess what? After all that hustling and everything, you know what the result was? The first record in Hard Rock Live that we put 1,200 people when we could just hold 800 people. And it's online for everyone to see. It's a really crappy recording, right? There's a handicap, and that band doesn't exist anymore. But if you go into the comments, some people is like, "What happened to the band? They were amazing." And there, if you pay attention in the chorus, sorry, in the bridge, people are singing the song. Never been on the radio, wasn't internet, wasn't anything, but the marketing and the guts to generate a business keeps the learning curve. That was my first success. And remember that my first failure, I made minus 100 bucks. The next one, and then it's been many till we hit Dry Splash. We have developed it now. We have TV shows. We put money in TV shows that are selected for Cannes TV. And when they go to Cannes, they go like, I didn't like it. Nobody made an offer? No. And it costs $150,000, $200,000 to make. So remember, you got to keep working hard, engage, and understand the path of the entrepreneur. Goes back to open your yellow pages. Again, yellow pages are Google Ads in a book, right? But yeah, that's one of the stories how Dry Splash was created because everything is connected in the life of an entrepreneur.
Well, because even if it's an unrelated industry, like I have lessons to this day that I use in my businesses and even the podcasting I do now. I have a background in video production, particularly editing, but at one point I actually have legitimate credits. I've produced, I don't really call it an album, it was more of a mixtape, but I produced it, or I distributed it. I shouldn't say produced it, but I did produce two live events. One was a stand-up comedy show, and one was a pro wrestling event. But I produced them. I still things that I learned while doing that, I still use today in the podcasting world. So
Yeah,
it
that
stacks up.
definitely is everything is stacked up and it's experience. Yeah, I mean,
I,
I don't
I,
even know how many.
I find it so funny because the stand up comedy show, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but like it's good. It's a little rough, but I mean, back in the early 2000s, it could have been put on Comedy Central. It was good enough. And it wasn't just like one static camera like you see on YouTube all the time. It's funny though, I only had 3 cameras, but you'd swear there were about 6 because I had 2 static cameras. One was a medium shot on the comedian, and then the other was a wide shot of the stage. And then I had a handheld because I was very good at holding a camera steady, and I didn't trust anybody else to do it. I was running around all over the place. So when you watch the special, you think there's 6 camera operators, there's 3.
Wow, that's good, man. That's good. You know, something that you remind me. Just go back to the hard rock for the last time. You say the cameras. What you guys gonna see is a couple of cameras only, handicapped, like really bad. Because in the screens, my sister was a friend or was dating, I don't remember. The guy that produced the live videos of Aerosmith, the guy from Argentina. So he went there to do it for free because he wanted to hook up with my sister. I don't know the real story, but nobody put a tape to record what happened. So nobody put a tape. Yeah, because I could have an amazing memory and I couldn't, right? But actually, the video that is in YouTube has we were so poor, guys, that back in the day, if you want to edit a video, you need a really good computer, and to pay a expensive software. The video that is around still have the mark, in the top of my face with the rights for using the free sample. Because I didn't do that video. Somebody uploaded, and that's it. And that generates a lot of good things and a good of memories. I was looking a podcast the other day for the people in Mexico. There's a comedian that is more like an entertainer, and he says something that took me 20 years to understand. Like when, like, what I didn't thought about that. That's what we always, as businessmen, gotta be reading, gotta be following trends. on there all the time. This guy said, I used to have the commercials. Nobody paid me on TV to work on TV, but they allowed me to tell them that I was going to have a show. And then I went to schools and told the principal this. Stay there with me. We have a tour for 74 high schools. 74. And I told the principal, what we need that you send a bus. We have a staff to put everything on. We go over there. The staff put everything. We play in the morning. They feed us and play in the afternoon. They take us back home. Well, the only difference that the other guy is that he told the guy, just if any student wants to see the show, he needs to pay $1. He never did that. I could make easily back then. See how easy it was. They could say no. I was gonna do it either way. That simple thing. When I saw here, I probably listened to this interview 3 weeks ago. I go like,
Yep, it happens. And then heck, I got one for you talking about pivoting. This happened today, and it's actually thanks to you, my friend. You sent me the dry splash video that you guys saw at the beginning of the video here, and you said, here, you can play this at the beginning. And I was about to text you, said, oh, well, we do it live, so we really can't do that. And then I thought to myself, wait, no. I know for a fact there are podcasts out there that live stream, just like we do, but they have a video intro. So I know it's possible. And I say this all the time, Google's free, guys. It took me about an hour to figure out how the mechanics worked, and then guess what? Now every podcast on our network is going to have a video intro. It's going to be that much better.
I'll be happy to be Forzan Corp to make the video, because the video that you put is not me. I don't know if people know it, but it's not me. It's an artificial intelligence from a development that my designers did. Obviously, the things in the back is from our uh, subscription with other systems, but me talking is not me. It's an AI. I'll be more than happy to help you to do that. Sponsored by Forzan Corp.
Oh, well, the beautiful part is we already have. Well, we have the shells of the videos because we have end screens on YouTube. The only difference is now it's just not going to be the subscribe here and check out more content, but like the logos are still going to be. It's going to be really cool because
Lessons to Entrepreneurs 2004. Never offer a favor in life because he will tell you no. Thank you.
no, it's
From
not.
now on, it's gonna cost you $300 the video.
This is a fault that I have truly, and it is a fault, and I need to work on it. But I'm very bad about accepting help, and that is a problem. I admit that it's
Don't
very
tell
bad.
that to 911, please.
Different kind of help.
Okay. But but you see, learning is really important when it comes to a business. Dry splash, and let me go specifically getting technical. Forzan Industries has a license to sell shares of the company. People, when they listen shares, they get spooked. They go like, oh, I don't know anything about the market. That will be a public offering, an IPO. This is a private offering that requires a different license of the SEC to identify credit investors. And if you're a credit investor, you're allowed to buy these shares. What is the difference? Well, the company is going to grow up with you. IPO, grow and go down by itself. Pros and cons. Cons, you're going to grow up with you. Right? That's the con. The pro is that the market, the value market is never going to go down of what you're buying because you're buying it at that price. And every share is prime. So it's not going to dilute. Why? Because you're investing in a company that is new. This is not a startup. You're investing in the growth of a company, so that makes a difference. So I'm going to ask somebody. If somebody could buy a share of Amazon 20 years ago for $5, will you do it? Of course you will. But people Want to buy one? I'm not sure. Probably it's $140 now. A share.
For Amazon, I think that's conservative, but yeah, it'd be in the hundreds for sure.
No, I think it's 140 or 100 or something. I don't know. You can Google it if you want. But what I'm saying, not $5. So we have that offering. Why? Because we understand that the only way for the culture to change is involve the people. If I try to tell you, hey Jake, you need to clean your car with water, without water, and tell me no, I do water. There's people that told me, yeah, I like to leave my wife and my kids, drive by myself to the car wash, let the car go into the machine, see how they clean it. Then I got my relaxing time. I said, great. You spend gas, you waste time with your family, you spend resources, and you spend from 40 to 60 gallons of water that you were not going to need them. Your kids might need them. Your grandkids kids will need them. Dry splash save you for all that hustle. Park your car well. You always park your car. Go to sleep. When you get back, your car is waxed. Clean and wax. Every corner of it. Windshields, wheels, everything. You save gas. You save time. You have the commodity of saying, somebody cleans my car every day. Why your car is so shiny? Got a service that cleans it once a week. And you save 40 to 60 gallons of water depending on the size of the car. I got a lot of people tell me, well, this is too good to be true. Yeah, you think that people that design BMW do a half-ass job just if you crash, you die? Yeah, you need it to be perfect. You need it to be made perfect. Now we make it to perfection because in this path of growing up, we hired a legal team, specific a legal team to sell franchises. And for the people that know franchises, you know that it's a normal process. But let me talk to the ones that they don't know how franchise works. From the franchisor, you need to have a trademark, you need to have a patent, you need to develop the whole system with manuals, with expenses, with publicity, everything. It's like writing a book. Then you need to pass it to a legal team so they create a FDD, that is a franchise disclosure document. That is going to cost you from $15,000 to $70,000. When you have it ready, now you need to present it to every state so they validate your information. So then you have a license that you pay that will fluctuate between 50 to $300, depending the state. There's a couple of states like Florida and Oregon that they don't require it. I think Virginia is the other one. I don't. Massachusetts, the third one. But the rest, that you need to have the FDD to be able to apply for the license. If not, they're not going to give you a license. And then with that license, you're allowed to sell a franchise because that's the way that they protect their citizens, not to invest their money into a fraud. So if somebody tries to sell you a franchise and they don't have an FDD, and the FDD people is 70 pages or 40 to 70 pages, that says everything. Franchise disclosure document. The name says it all. So we went to that. So we need to make it perfect and get every layer of the code to be able to write the FDD. And until the day somebody tell me, well, I don't know if it's going to work. I got a document validated by the government that says it's going to work. And I got people not, because again, people don't like changes. And people are afraid of, it's not, it's more than change. We want to see evolution as a thing, not as a everyday living. Evolution is the way that you eat today and you feel bad in your stomach and you say, you know what, I'm gonna cut the salt. You're evolving yourself to be better. I'm drinking too much. Or maybe I need a drink because I'm extremely tense. Right? You're evolving. That doesn't mean that your evolution gonna change society. but it will change your environment. And if you procure your environment, guess what? Then it's going to procure culture, and then it's going to hit society. And that's when you have a successful business. But that's my only 2 cents of being an entrepreneur.
Somehow, I don't think you only have 2 cents, my friend. Your wealth of information, knowledge, and always a surprise and a pleasure to talk to. We've been at this for almost an hour and a half, so I mean we don't have to wrap it up, but we covered a lot of ground. But one thing I want to make sure we cover, because I had a feeling the conversation would go this way, so I wrote the description very apropos. I figured we would get into entrepreneurship, so I guess the last question that I definitely want to cover with you is what advice would you give a young entrepreneur or a young version of yourself, a young Max, if you could go back and talk to yourself, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur that's just starting out and is getting a little discouraged?
3 things that you need to, 4 things, and I'm gonna quote the most important person in my business integration as an adult by choice. Jim Valvano was a coach, a basketball coach. Jim Valvano was a guy that barely coached. He jumped to and got hired because he was extremely charismatic. And he took a NCAA team with no talent. None of those 12 guys made it to the NBA. None of them become professional, but they motivate them so strong that make them national champions. They beat a guy called Michael Jordan. They beat a guy called Anthony Perkins. They beat a guy named James Worthy. They beat a guy called Shaquille Olajuwon. Jim Balbano, please research it. He got a beautiful speech. They're a little old. He already passed. But in his last speech, when he was receiving the SP, he said 3 things that you need to do every single day. Laugh. If you laugh, you're going to manage to laugh. It doesn't matter about what. Laugh. Force yourself to laugh. Think. Think about what you want to do, where you are, where you want to be. Don't, and please don't take me wrong, the people that do that. You don't need to visualize it. Just think. I don't believe in visualizing. I don't. Because if I could visualize, I will look like Brad Pitt, and my wife will be Michelle Pfeiffer. You see, it's not happening. I got the same face, right? But think, and then drive yourself to tears of joy or sadness every day. And I'm quoting Jim Valvano. This is not me. It's not. But after you laugh, you cry, and you think, that's a full day. So if you live your full day like that, then you're going to find the answers and the path to be successful. So that's what you need to do. That, and I will add the last thing, be stubborn even to yourself. When your brain says no, you say yes. When your brain says I'm too tired, you push it. When they told you don't be angry, be angry. When you tell you don't be upset, be upset. When they told you rest, you don't rest. Because the moment that you do these 3 beautiful things that Jim Balbano gave us, and then you become stubborn, and you learn, and this is Tony Robbins, you learn to control your mind. You control your mind, not your mind controls you. You're gonna be able to get there. There's days that I have 20 meetings, 20 failures of meetings. Then I gotta go and rehearse with the band. Then I gotta do a podcast with you. Then I gotta hang up and talk to the manager, and then I gotta have a life. But that this takes me to my own personal perception. And I know it's gonna be a little odd, and I know it's not gonna be as inspirational as Jim Balbano or as a motivational like Tony Robbins. But right now in the world, there's people that are saying goodbye to the loved ones. There's people that are in bed alone with a deadly sickness. There's people that made a mistake and they're in jail. There's people that they're heartbroken because somebody decided not to be with them. There's people that they're counting $2 and realizing what they're gonna do. If they don't give up, us as entrepreneur and business people, we don't have the right to give up. The other day, somebody told me, I'm so sad because my grandfather is sick. I wish he can go to rest. I said, you're the most selfish, arrogant person that I ever met. He told me, what? I said, because you're thinking about yourself. Is he dead? No. He's still breathing? Yeah. Don't give up for him. You don't have the right to give up for him. When he decides to leave, he will leave. Well, the guy recovered and now he's good. He stopped. You don't listen to other people. You live to yourself. You become stubborn. And trust me, no matter how an asshole you are, no matter how arrogant you are as me, so I know I'm an arrogant prick. No matter how, I know, and I'm not saying a bad way. I am. When you reach stardom with your business, they all forget about that. They will call you visionary. They will call you magnificent. They will say, I knew it was gonna work. But what the hell, you didn't help me. So that's my advice to remember. Laugh, think, drive yourself to tears. When you have that beautiful full day, be stubborn and don't give up. Regardless of what you do. Don't give up.
I don't know, man. That was pretty inspirational, but you did make me think of one more question. I'm going to take a page out of Toon Talk 2.0's book, and I'm only going to ask you for one recommendation. If you could recommend, and I know there's a lot out there, I can think of half a dozen off my head, but I have one in mind. If you could only recommend one book to help the same entrepreneur, it doesn't have to be a business book, but what
I
book?
got the answer.
Yeah.
I got the perfect answer, and we will go with this. First of all, Toon Talk 2.0 is really fun because we address a lot of things, but in a fun way. The asshole prick disappears. Uh, Machiavello. They will love you for fear or for love. If your client, your investor, your girlfriend that is supporting your business, your wife, fear you for love, you will make it. Sorry, if they stay with you for love, you will make it. If you stay there for fear, you will make it. So read Machiavelli upside down and just adapt it to your personal circumstance of business. You'll be fine.
That's actually attached to the book I would recommend. It's a little bit more positive, but you're 100% right. I haven't read it, but I'm familiar with the concept. Need to, definitely. But the book I would recommend, especially if you're in sales or you're doing any sort of having to convince people in the industry you're in, highly recommend you read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It completely changed the way that I interact with customers, and I'm in my core of my business is sales. And to this day, again, not to toot my own horn, but it's true. I can verify it. I've got the receipts, as they would say. There are contractors that we deal with, and there are repeat customers that we deal with, like flippers and investors and all these other different kinds of people. They come in, and it's happened on more than a few occasions. They come in, and I'm not in the office for some reason. They say, "Is Jake here?" They say, "No, he's out. Can I help you?" No, I'll just call him. Or, "No, I'll come back." You know, because I took the lessons in that book. It's a very, very good book. And if you learn and apply what that book says, you will build relationships with customers that nobody will be able to outcompete you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. People sometimes forget, of course, every one of us receive a call that says, like, may I speak with Jake? And ask me how I am. Build that relationship. Uh, it's a matter of believing in yourself and let the other ones understand how they will believe in yourself. A salesperson needs to understand that the client will follow by emotion or by necessity. And necessity falls into the analyzing. Some people like numbers, some people like to feel. If you know how to decode what is your person, you will have a sale just like that. I'm not a salesman, but I was being grateful enough to grow up with my mom. She sold medical equipment to the government in Mexico and to private hospitals, the hemodialysis machines. And she came with a beautiful idea that says, I'm going to rent you the machine so you don't need to pay money, but you have an exclusive to buy all the materials. And that changed the system. Because then the doctors or the owners of the government didn't have to pay $2 million to have the machine. They just rent it for more amount, right? But so I saw her how she was doing the sales completely, right? So if you know how to decode if it's numbers or feelings, you will have a sale.
Righty. Well, on that note, I will lead us out, but I'll give them my spiel, and then feel free to plug anything you want to plug after I give them my spiel. Once again, thank you for enjoying this episode of the Arete podcast. If you, as always, please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you liked it. If you've got a question for Max, leave it in the comments. I will make sure that I ask it for you, and then we'll reply duly in the comments for you. Please be sure to check out the website, aretemedia.org, where you can listen to all the podcasts on the Arete Podcast Network, as well as our blog, which has a couple of articles from it's a book I'm working on, but I'm putting them in the form of blog posts, 101 Ways to Fail at Life. It's kind of a satirical advice book because I screwed up a lot in my life, and I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. So read it so you don't have to. And if you're interested in more entrepreneurship content, the Arete Podcast 7, I actually talked with my mother, who was also a lifelong entrepreneur, without the rose-colored glasses, because entrepreneurship can be hard and not everybody makes it. So there are lessons to be learned there. So you can check that out. That's the previous episode. And like Max said, check out Toon Talk 2.0 because it's a lot of fun. And if you like this conversation especially, you can experience it every week. So Max, is there anything you want to plug before we wrap it up?
Yes, just to kudos to your mom. Because really, if you want to be a business person, don't expect everyone to love you. And I'm just going to say this because that's the way I am. If people don't like me or they have a grudge against me, save yourself writing something because Jake is going to erase it. The reality is that you need to keep working hard and believe in yourself. Thank you for inviting me. Toon Talk 2.0 is totally different. That this is the same two friends, but it's funny and we curse a lot and we make a lot of references. Thank you. I really believe that you have an amazing concept with all these podcasts, and I know you're gonna get to the next level really soon.
That we shall. We're just going to keep trudging along till it happens. Well, again, Max, thank you very much for joining us. This has been the Arete Podcast. We will see you all next month, and be sure to check out the other podcasts